the fake blood coming off is never a good time in the shower.
No, if you want to get blood out, mix laundry, a little bit of laundry detergent in your blood concoction, whatever it's made out of, it'll be so much easier to wash out. I want to take Satan to gay pride just to get some interactions. And right as this big-ass gay Satan gets out of my car, all these parishioners are getting out of church, like the bells rang.
And you're like, roll the cameras.
Hey, quick question before we get started. Would you like to win a free piece of clothing from Snowman Films and a 30-minute chat about your creative journey with me? I know that I would love to connect with you, and I know that I would have loved to talk with somebody who had experienced a similar path when I was getting started. So let's make it happen. Here's what you need to do. Subscribe to the Conversations with Creators podcast, rate and review, and share it in just 5 easy steps. First, write a review on your preferred podcasting platform and rate it. 5 stars for good karma. Then, screenshot your review and share it on social media, tagging Snowman Films. Each month, I'll select one random winner to receive a free piece of clothing from our store and a 30-minute virtual coaching call with me. Again, subscribe, write a review, rate the show, screenshot that review, share it on social media, tagging Snowman Films, and get entered into a drawing for that one-on-one virtual session with me and some free swag. Thank you so much for taking the time to leave me a review. I really appreciate you, and I'm excited to see you in our one-on-one virtual call soon. Now, let's dive into today's episode. So the big question is this: how are creators like us, who aren't built for the 9-to-5, for the people who put their passion before them being comfortable, how do we turn that passion into a living that pays the bills and a life that we love? That is the question. This podcast will give you the answers. My name is Noah Mittman, and welcome to Conversations with Creators.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Conversations with Creators. I am your host, Noah Mittman. I am a filmmaker, podcaster, a whole bunch of things. And my guest today is Kevon Ward. He is a creature designer, special effects makeup artist whose work has ranged from Denver's haunted houses called like 13th Floor. He's been on season 9 and 13 of Sci-Fi's hit show Face Off, and he's just done a ton of awesome stuff. Kevon, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Good to see you. Yeah, me and Kevon have known each other for quite a while. Back when I met you, you were, so it was 13th Floor, right? You were creating creatures and rooms and stuff for Odd House.
The 13th Floor in 2012, so
yeah,
over 10 years now.
Oh my God. That's crazy. Yeah, because were you at the asylum before that?
I mean, not really. I got hired by the 13th Floor company, owns the asylum, and that season they set me to the asylum.
Got it.
Because I think you mostly stayed at the 13th Floor.
Yeah, but at that time I was at 13th Floor. I think I was, God, I don't even remember my last year there was. But I remember being in your stratosphere for a couple of years there, and it was a blast. Long hours, but it was a blast. Mm-hmm. So that's how you got your start. What kind of sparked your interest in special effects makeup to begin with?
That's
when was the moment?
What's funny about that is this is a question I get all the time.
I'm sure.
Answer for it.
Yeah.
Because the actual genesis of me as an artist is hard to pinpoint. I mean, if we just talked about that in the broad sense, I've always been an artist. I used to take my mom's fingernail polish and paint on the walls with it, take crayons, color out in the furniture. You know what I mean?
I'm sure that went super well.
From diapers on, I was an artist. Of course. Narrowing it down to, what made me more of like a fine artist, I'd say. Having this kind of obsession with film and movies at a young age. I wanted to get into cartoons for a while, so I used to check out drawing books at the public library before like the internet was so easy to get. If we're talking makeup wise, I was drama in art school, or not art school. Drama in high school got me into like the makeup side of it. And then I went to art school. I moved down to Denver to go to college here. Started entering in an effects company, so that led to molding, casting, fabrication, sets, and then that segued to haunted houses where I learned more costuming. So you know what I mean? It seemed like a lot of different things carved out all these paths that eventually intersected.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you kept finding, like, you knew you wanted to be artistic, but you kept finding different paths and different kind of, I guess, kept honing in on what you really wanted to do over time.
Yeah, it seemed like I had all these different things I wanted to pursue, and they kept, yeah, like these little paths kept going into one bigger path.
Yeah,
Now, so
that makes sense.
like I said, it's kind of a hard question to answer, but I think in simple terms, I just spent a lifetime.
Yeah. When did it start? When did you,
to get here. Right?
the creature creation, when did that start for you?
Okay, that's easier to know. Dang, that started from the haunted house.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was 13th. What was like the first, do you remember the first creature you created for them?
Do I? Let me think. What was the first creature? I remember in 2015, Evan Hedges and I created a Krampus, and that was a fully realized creature. It's had horns, face, body, stilts, everything. But prior to that,
Was that just basically like a statue, or was it like animatronic moving around?
no, that was performed by an actor.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool. Yeah, so it was a full on, man, that's cool. So it went on a body.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, creature-wise, if we count zombies as creatures, I would say
Yeah, why not?
zombies are creatures too, you know. So I would say probably 2012 doing the haunted house. That was because it all begins with zombies. Like every indie filmmaker wants to do a zombie film. But zombies is like, you know, creatures on training wheels.
Yeah, no, that's 100%. It's probably the easiest to do, and yeah, just straight up the easiest. Like, it's just facial, and you don't have to like create full on limbs.
That's what I mean is if you're gonna, you know, it's easier to do a zombie than a werewolf, right? Because for a zombie, you technically do it out of kit. If you want to get fancy, make a prosthetic. A lot of times it's just a face.
Yeah.
Over the hands. We made you a zombie a few times. I remember.
Oh yeah, that was before I had the beard, and yeah, that was happy to not have a beard in those days, because that the fake blood coming off is never a good time in the shower.
No, it's a pain. I would say I have something to add to that in just a second.
Yeah.
Circle back to your first question. I would say 2012 was probably about the first time I made a creature, and it would have been a zombie, albeit a simple one. If you want to get blood out, mix a little bit of laundry detergent in your blood concoction, whatever it's made out of, it'll be so much easier to wash out.
That is a big hack. Oh my God, that's awesome. No, especially, I mean, even for haunted house, for film, for anything, that's a great tip. Because getting it off is, you never, I mean, again, if you're working haunted houses, your face is always just kind of red through the entirety of October.
Here's a funny little testament to what I just told you. So for my girlfriend's last birthday, we threw a prom style party because it was scary themed.
Nice.
Everyone came in their prom outfits. We had a picture op. We had 70s music playing in the background, and then of course as the party goes on, we have to do the ritualistic blood dump. So we took her outside. Of course, I get to do it.
Yeah, of course.
Pick up the big bucket. We just dumped it on her, and then
tell me that's on film somewhere.
But we did mix. I threw a little bit of laundry detergent in that blood. We did it in our backyard, and it was a mess.
Yeah, I bet.
But the first rain that came took care of all of it.
It's all rain clears all. Oh my God, I'm starting to think of the neighbors when that rainstorm comes, and there's just this. I'm sure some of it got maybe on the street, and there's a lot of blood. Okay.
That's fine. I would say the last 4 or 5 places I've lived, I've just made peace with being a weird neighbor on the block.
Yeah, and also I feel, because I've been to your house, you kind of have Halloween stuff up year round, right? Like there's kind of just like a spooky. So like I feel like it's not a huge surprise when weird shit happens. Like for like, I call them the muggles or whatever that aren't into kind of the film and the horror stuff. But no, it would make sense that it comes from that house, and the kids maybe just don't go close to it.
Also fine.
So speaking of 13th, Hans Crippleton was born at 13th Floor, which I am a huge fan of, and you actually made a whole movie with him. Um, what did the Hans movie teach you about kind of performing and doing makeup on the same project?
Yeah, so what's funny about the Hans movie is like everybody that strives to become some creator, whether they're renowned in their local community or whether they're renowned nationwide, worldwide, whatever, they have an early project that is kind of their embarrassment. You know what I mean? Because you get better. Like your first thing, your first production, whatever. It shouldn't be your best. It's gonna be rough, but it was a lot of fun, and it was born out of the haunted house. I created this character Hans, who's this deformed hillbilly basically, who has this family that's equally deranged. So they live on this zombie farm, and it's a funny kind of a stepping stone for me because during the haunted house years, I started getting into indie film. Actually, this year marks the 10-year anniversary because 2013 was when I started going to the Bug Theater. I started auditioning for indie films. I started meeting local directors, whatever. And I had been on sites, but I thought, maybe I'll try this out, see if I can make a film. And that's all it was. It was just meant to be a sort of personal challenge with, like, can I do it or not? Like, right, that's was. I have no.
I think that's how we all get started, right? Like, I have an idea.
Issues with it at all, so we just made this funny little film. And then, what's great about the haunted house pool is like if I meet actors, especially those that could take some abuse, hey, come be a zombie for the day. You already know how to like do the zombie movements, the lurch and gait and howls and all that. So we got tons of zombies and. It was really special because I got to get all my friends in on it. But then what happened next is I feel like doing all these makeups for that film, dealing with like the stress and pressure of meeting deadlines was the requisite experience I needed.
Right.
For Face Off and then get on to Face Off.
Oh, that's a great point. So yeah, because it kind of the pressure there, because I mean, a Face Off is just pure pressure, right?
It was. So in the timeline of my journey, I feel like the Hans movie, for as like ridiculous and amateur as it is it fills this very vital gap on my timeline.
Yeah. Well, and like you're talking shit, but like I loved it, and I think it was because like it was hilarious, and like the jokes, like everything worked for like what you were trying to, because it's supposed to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like it's not supposed to be taken seriously at all, and it worked for that. Like the makeup was serious. Like, you believed the characters, but the whole thing was so insane. This is actually, I'm so happy that you brought up Face Off because this is the perfect segue. What would Hans create if he was on Face Off?
What would he create? I mean, he's got a tiny little hand, so he might not be fast enough. But then again, all his confidence would make up for that.
Yeah.
Own it. I mean, he's so used to seeing zombies, so something
zombie related.
Walking Dead thing on.
Yeah. And then what would he?
Probably an image of himself. He is very arrogant. So
yeah, he just makes different versions of himself. Oh, that's fantastic.
Instead of the statue of David, statue of Hans.
Yeah. Every challenge is just him in the theme.
Maybe that's it.
That's great. What would he say to the judges after a successful makeup challenge?
I mean, he would definitely. I think he would put the judges in their place. I mean, I think he would go onto the stage feeling and believing that he knows best.
That is true. It's like...
So I actually think it'd be irrelevant what the judges said.
He would just do whatever he wanted. That would be... Oh, my God. That in an alternate universe, that would be an amazing thing to see. So, yeah, actually, for the face-off experience... kind of talk to me about like the differences of Well, I mean, we talked about a little bit how, kind of indie film is a little bit of abuse, honestly. It's so crazy. What are the biggest differences that between like network TV and indie film in the special effects department, or like the special effects makeup?
The scope of work and the level of pay is a huge difference. Whereas, like,
Yeah,
on an indie film, you do a lot of work, but your profit margin is much, much smaller. Whereas, like, on a bigger production, it's so compartmentalized. Your contribution is much smaller, much narrower, but the payout, the monetary payout, is much bigger.
yeah. So because well, I feel like it's a very specific job. So you have like, yeah, the thing you're hired to do specifically. So like, are you? Because I know you've also worked on some other kind of bigger stuff in this just the makeup department. Like, is there a specific part of the makeup that you're on, or is it kind of the whole team's working on everything?
I mean, it always kind of depends. I mean, lately, some of the bigger projects I've been on, I'm there as the effects artist, so it's like if there's blood work to be done, it's me.
Yeah.
Anything else, somebody else has it covered. To the point that, like, if there's a blood drop on the floor, it's like, hey, we need right, fly in the effects artist to wipe up the blood. Obviously, anybody can do that.
Yeah.
That's just how structured it gets.
Yeah. That's really good to know. Is like, because I'm sure for some people stepping on a bigger thing, a bigger project, they don't, because you're so used to an indie film doing everything, and it's all on you, and there's so much pressure there, and then you actually will sometimes get in trouble on a bigger set if you're doing not your job because you're trying to, fill a gap or whatever.
Yes. And I mean, as ridiculous as it sounds, there is a reason for it, because everybody, if you don't have structure, things get sloppy.
Yeah, 100%.
Stick to the person. Well, like, not too long ago, I had to do a cut finger on someone's pretending to, like, cut their finger off. So we have a finger prosthetic. And my hands are full with that, like, because I have the syringe here to push the blood out.
Yeah.
I'm also trying to doctor up the prosthetic pinky. Meanwhile, the slab we're on needs more blood. And the other art hand that was there was like, Kevin, is it okay if I put the blood pool on here? I'm like, yes, like, both my hands are occupied. Yes, I keep that responsibility to you.
Yeah. But no, I mean, that's good because there's communication there, and I feel like especially with some special effect with effects makeup, there's potential for injury with some of the like if it's a squib or whatever else. That's communication's kind of key on that.
Well, I think that's why too, is so that, let's say something does go wrong, the accountability stays with whoever's department that was supposed to.
Mm.
Well, it's like with stunts, right?
Yeah.
You'll get hired to go and choreograph a stunt. That's your department. You shouldn't have other people in there walking on your department because, similar with makeup, stunts has a safety component to it also.
Massive, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like you keep it with that person.
Yeah, no, and I think that's a big thing for people to realize that are maybe making the transition from indie to a bigger project, that like you need to walk kind of carefully. You need to walk cautiously or at least ask a lot of questions because that the departments really are like what they are, and they have their specific jobs, and that's you don't want to get fired.
Right.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say about the indie versus the bigger projects is, naturally it seems like the bigger projects are the better routes to go, because it seems like the scope of work is much more manageable and the payout's bigger in one particular way, because the payout can be monetary, which is great, but payout could also be the recognition you get. So I would say the downside of bigger productions is the same thing that's good about it is the same thing that's negative about it. Whereas, like, you have less work expected of you. That can also be the downside, because then you don't get to, like, show the fullest of yourself.
Yeah.
On some of these bigger productions. Whereas, like, an indie project, I feel like it's such a better highlight reel of who you are because you get to do more. So
yeah, and you're not, there's not like notes happening. You are in your own notes. So like it's really when with creative freedom, there's a lot more to do, but when you do it right, it can really be amazing.
yeah, and I've talked to a lot of my friends about this. One of my friends in Atlanta works on Marvel. He works on Tyler Perry, all these other things, and so he feels like it's kind of the same way. Whereas like these projects are great, they're great for the pocketbook,
Mm-hmm.
but the ones that really feed the heart are the more indie ones.
Well, yeah, it's some of them are for the meal and some of them are for the real.
Okay, there you go. So I think the best thing for a creative to do is strike a balance between those two options.
Yeah.
Because we're in this for the love and for the art and all those other cliches, but we're in it as a business too, because it's what we make money at. And what I've noticed is if you only lean towards the business side of it, you really start to lose the compassion for it. But if you lean too much towards the art and you're like, yeah, this is just fun and I love it, and I don't care if I get paid or not. Well, you should, because then eventually now you can't make a living. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
you've done the same thing where it's like part of what you do is what supports you.
Right. Oh, it completely. I mean, the family eats on it, which is a little insane, but
Well, once in a while you'll take once in a while you'll compromise. You're like, okay, this is just going to be a lot of fun and I want to do it.
that's what this is. No, I'm honestly like, eventually, I know if I stick with it and stuff, and I pitch stuff, I can get sponsors on this, and I can, it can start generating some money. But like in the meantime, it's something that I can do that is keeping me creative, keeping me chatting with friends, keeping making something going. Because no, you totally get tied up sometimes in the I'm just trying to get a paycheck and doing whatever it takes. With projects that are maybe less interesting. And if you only do that, I think we've all experienced a bit of it, because you bounce back and forth a little bit. If you go super hard for a long time on only paid stuff that you're not as excited about, you have to get something personal going again to reignite the fire a little bit. Because other than that, it kind of just turns into a job.
Yeah, and let's face it, if your only goal in life is financial wealth, why would you ever be an artist?
So true.
I mean, like seriously, get
Go be a lawyer or something.
directly to a more lofty career. And
Yeah. No, I mean, you can make, I don't know. Yeah, I was before I kind of jumped into the full-time thing with Snowman Films, I was a EMT, which is not good money, but if you can stick with it for a couple of years, you become a paramedic and become a fire medic, you can make like six figures with it. Which I actually enjoyed a lot, but it was just, I had to kind of make a decision of like, am I going to give this filmmaking really a shot, or take, like medical is super fun and I'm passionate about it. It was exciting. But it was just like, no, I want to create. And, no, it's, you have to make that decision, and you absolutely have to love it with all of your being, because this shit is hard.
it's hard, and I also think it's the groundwork for becoming a professional, and that goes for anything.
Mhm.
In order to really become amazing at what you do, it literally has to become your life.
Yeah.
You live it, breathe it almost every single day, because there are hard days too. I can't tell you how many times I've done a project and it's gone very badly, and you get existential. You're like, why am I doing this? It's just stressed out all the time. The hours I've put into this are not worth it.
Yeah. And then you realize like, well, I could try to go get a job, but it might be unemployable at this point.
Right. The alternative always looks worse. That's what keeps me going. So
Right.
on my worst day as a independent artist feels better than any other option. Because I think about those get-by jobs I had throughout college and right after college, because I graduated when the economy was terrible. I thought, I don't ever want to go back to having to do that again.
Yeah. For me, it's a big like time freedom thing. I had, through school, I would have, like a busboy job or, serve like all, movie theater, whatever that stuff is. And it would just make my skin crawl when I was like, hey, can I have this day off in 2 weeks to go do this fun thing? And they were like, no, you need to come in. And I'd be like, okay, so I'm probably just going to quit because I want to do that. Bye. Like I couldn't handle it.
That is, well, I think that is the greatest thing that I have going for me is the freedom. Not to say that I'm not busy almost.
Oh no, yeah, work your ass off.
I can at least move that time around, if I can say this. So
Correct.
not having to ask someone permission to just go take off somewhere. Because sometimes I will, work will take me to another state.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have to ask. I mean, granted, if I make a commitment somewhere, like that'll black out my dates, but it's nothing like.
But it's a conversation.
Or the time off, and then hope they grant my request.
Right.
Those days are long behind me. I don't ever have to do that again.
I'm in the same boat, and thank God, because I would be bouncing between jobs every week or so if that was happening. But no, I mean, like, perfect example. Like we had to go down to Texas for a funeral a couple weeks ago, and I had an editing job that I currently had, and I was able to edit in the car and deliver when we got down there, and it was fine. And so, it happened to be that I was working while we were on the road, and that was fantastic. It was, I was like, I know that we'll be making this money when we get back, and it just fit the lifestyle that I want to be able to live. No, it's 100% required for my life. Jump into a different kind of version of what you do. You have had more cosplay experience, I think, than anybody that I know. What's been like the coolest getting noticed for your work by the creator of a show that you've had encounters with?
Recently, I created the hormone monsters from Big Mouth, and Nick noticed.
Nick Kroll noticed.
Yeah, and
that's epic. What did he say?
I'm trying to remember what it was something very bland. So I think it was just something like, "Oh, how cool!" Or it was something like that.
But at least you got a shout out from Nick Kroll. That's freaking fun.
I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, so we did that, and then so my friend Maya Klosterman, you know her. Yeah, thank you, dude. Don't you? So, anyways, yeah, she was the hormone monster Connie that time. That was last year. The year before, no, not the year before that. A few years before that, I did her up as Leela from Futurama. So I made her prosthetic with, the one eye. And Katie Seagal saw that one. And
that's dope.
Not on my accounts, but on hers. She's better at social media than I am. Yeah, I do like it when it gets back to the.
I feel like that's like the highest form of flattery on what you're doing, because it's like it's good enough that they took notice and were like, this is sick. Yeah, no, that's awesome. How do you is there any process for what you choose to do next for cosplay, or is it kind of just random?
A lot of times I just go along with what my friends want to do, because we do group cosplay so often. So usually I'm not the one that even decides what to do.
Yeah.
Like back when we had Zombie Crawl, usually Liz would come up with a theme. So we did zombies in Wonderland one year. I was the caterpillar that time.
That was sweet.
Then we did Zombies of Oz. I was the Tin Man that time. What happens in that case is that usually everyone else will be assigned usually I get assigned the hardest one, and then that's left up to me.
Right.
The caterpillar.
Like, Kevin has all the talent. Let's just fucking he can handle the hardest shit.
Yeah, caterpillar for Alice in Wonderland. But that actually does remind me there is a very important component that I factor in when creating cosplays, and it's how to hide alcohol. So the caterpillar, for example.
That's a solid thing to factor in.
You have to think about these things. So that one, like I said, is a sleeping bag, because I, just all the suction cups on it. But it was able to unzip. So we had like a bottle of gin in there, and we had some beers and stuff. And We went all over downtown with it.
Yeah. Are you going a straw with it, or you just take it out and fucking do it?
Just unzip the caterpillar, reach in, take something out. But another time, we dressed up as Beetlejuice and Lydia, and we made a giant sandworm for the purpose of creating essentially a Pez dispenser out of it. So we stacked beers of this sandworm, and then we went to the Trax nightclub because, buying drinks at the club is way too expensive.
Oh, 100%.
If you just drag a giant sandworm, man, no one's going to think to check it.
That's the most elaborate. I just have like a Camelback with a hidden thing that I get beers in. But no, having a full on sandword, and nobody's gonna like think to stop you with
check your pockets and what. But a downside to this is if you're going to bars, anywhere alcohol's served, and you're in a cosplay, you kind of gotta look like yourself, because one time when we were Liz was Coraline and I was Wybie from the same movie, we had the prosthetics and button eyes.
Yeah.
That time we couldn't get into a club because
they couldn't verify who you were.
They said those masks come off, and we're like, they're glued on. Like, we can't just take them off.
Right.
And
I can't believe that they didn't that's amazing, but they wouldn't let you in. That's insane.
There have been times I've been able to argue my way through it a few times. It just depends on who you get. If you get someone that's stubborn and they're determined to stand by their rules.
Yeah.
So it's like arguing with TSA. What someone's mind's made of, it's kind of hard to get through it. But,
those are solid tips, though. Like, A, always have a compartment or somewhere to store alcohol so you don't have to pay exorbitant bar fees. And B, at least be able to recognize your face so that you can get in.
One time, I don't remember which costume I was, but I was able to make it work. Oh, I think it was for the Hormone Monsters, because we're at the convention center.
Yeah.
And yeah, my friends Maya and Sean, they had their prosthetics glued on, but they wanted to get a drink, So I went up to the bar at Fan Expo, and I said, hey, these masks are glued on, but look, I've got documentation of me applying it.
Before and after.
Both of them have tattoos on their arms.
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, take your gloves off. You could see their tattoos here. Now I'm going to show you this picture. Same tattoos, their face, everything. Like it was
I thought this out.
They had to call their manager, and their manager came over. He's like, well, technically I shouldn't let you do this, but fine. It was a whole thing. So
that is, I'm very impressed.
All the more reason, just sneak the boot.
Bring it in yourself, 100%. Yeah. Hey there, fellow creatives. Conversations with Creators dives deep into the minds of successful filmmakers, artists, musicians, and all-around awesome people. We are looking for some kick-ass sponsors to help us keep this show on the road. If you want to reach a tribe of dedicated listeners who are just as passionate about creating as you are, then look no further. Our audience is full of people who appreciate a good laugh and are always on the lookout for new ways to fuel their creativity. So, let's team up and create some magic together. We'll work with you to make sure that your brand is showcased in the best light possible. And who knows, maybe we'll even become lifelong friends. Just imagine, years from now, we'll be reminiscing about the good old days when we first teamed up to take the world by storm. Send us an email at noah@snowmanfilms.net to say hey and get the ball rolling. Now back to the episode. Especially if you have extra, a good amount of space that you can hide inside stuff. That's great. Because paying for drinks out is especially in Denver is ridiculous. It's one of the many downsides of gentrification. That shit has just gotten so expensive.
Oh yeah, everything's gotten expensive about Denver.
I'm gonna talk to Zach about that in a bit. We're gonna try to find a time, but no, it's.
So I wanna make sure I see Zach too before he moves.
Yeah, our buddy's moving away because it's too damn expensive here, which I totally get.
It's kind of segueing us into something else I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Maybe you know a thing or two about this. Is we're starting to get the worst parts of LA without the good parts. Traffic sucks.
Yes.
Incredibly expensive, but for God's sake, the industry will not come here. Do you know?
I know.
Any upward movement on that or not?
I heard that there's a new candidate for governor, I want to say. not governor. Anyway, Leslie Harada is um more passionate about the arts and like film and like wanting to bring stuff here. So like incentives wise, that's what we need. We need vastly better incentives to bring stuff here. Because we have, we have LSI that has, we have lighting services that has a massive soundstage, and like, we have a bit of what can handle a bigger industry. We just need the incentives and need people to actually care about it.
I think the ability and talent are here. We don't have the right politics here.
Correct. And what I've worked on mostly the past 2 years is like reality shows and commercials. So like we have trash TV being made here, but we don't have, like a lot of features. We have a couple features. I do think it's growing though. Because I do think, just being in the Facebook group and I've seen a lot of people moving from LA here, which I'm kind of like, damn it, because you're going to have more experience for stuff than I am, and you're going to get my jobs. But it also tells me that there's movement in the industry to be away from LA and be like, it's kind of expanding, and hopefully it'll lead to more consistent work here.
That's what I'm hoping. It seems like it's been wishful thinking for many.
It is. It has. It's been a slow, but like that's the thing is like, well, actually, a question for you: are you like, do you have roots? Because I have roots here. I have family in the mountains. Like we're gonna get land. Like I'm here. I'm not moving. Are you staying here, or what do you? Is this your home base, or what do you think?
I wasn't gonna stay here, but we bought a house now, so
Yeah,
I'm anchored here.
well, it is like if you can stay out of the city, essentially, which is what I've done. It's better. Like I live in Evergreen, and it's really chill there and fun, and the local, like getting to know the locals is awesome. But like, yeah, I think what you said, the worst parts of LA without the industry. So you have more traffic, you have increasingly aggressive homeless people, tent cities are happening. Like that shit wasn't here like 5 years ago. No, it's a little insane. So for people in the industry, like we're good. Don't move here. You're fine. But
Just don't from LA.
I want the jobs from LA. I just don't want everybody coming out. Because it's funny too, like some of the people that I've met from LA, I've talked to quite a few, and they're like, the LA scene is very like dog eat dog, like super competitive, like people stab you in the back. And I think what we have here at our base is a very supportive community. Everybody's friends. Everybody like wants each other to succeed. But I do think that's part of having a smaller knit group community here. That we're trying to grow it, and if we get a bunch of assholes coming in, like that's not fun for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. It's it'll be. I'm hoping we get more, because again, I'm not going anywhere, and it sounds like you're kind of tied down too. So it hopefully it comes to us. And in the meantime, we have the industry that's here. You're doing commission work. I'm doing, occasionally I'll drive Uber if I have to. Like we're getting by.
The good thing is that even without moving to LA or Atlanta or Albuquerque, which I haven't really considered LA, I've considered the other two.
Yeah.
In spite of not moving to either place, I have not had to go looking for work. I've stayed busy right here.
That's great.
That is a good thing.
Yeah. Well, for me too, like that you're doing well, but just because you say you're not good at social media, but you're very good at posting your work, which I think probably leads to other jobs. And then there's what Denver does have is kind of a thriving small business like market here. So like I do a lot of, I'm currently waiting on a client I'm gonna have a brewery client for video marketing. So like it just changes, the work is there, it just changes the style of the work that it is. There's not as much narrative, there's more marketing here.
Well, and then that brings up another important thing too, is be hireable in more than just one way.
Oh, 100%.
Because I don't quite a lot, but probably 50%. There's a lot I do that's not fulfilled.
Yeah. Yeah, like you do like installations and stuff for like, right, hold up, your video froze.
You cut it.
There we go. We're back. Yeah, no, I've seen a lot of stuff for like restaurants or like, different clients, but that's all that is interesting. Like, that's a good point, is like, your skills as an artist or as any creator, you should have multiple like avenues that you can do that you're having fun with. Like you are still, you're doing the same job. It's just for different types of clients.
Yeah, and for the same, this kind of two-part dichotomy we talked about at the beginning is relevant in this case too, where it's like you should be hireable for more than one thing because then it keeps your income steady.
Right.
But it also keeps you from getting complacent too, because sometimes I just want to take a break.
Yeah.
There's plenty of times it's like, okay, once this production's done, can I just like do some painting for a while or something? I'll just kind of switch it up.
That's actually the question I like to ask everybody is where are the ways that you're getting your money in with what you do?
I'd say about 50% is film stuff. Last year, werewolves were in for some reason. I did 3 werewolf movies off the top of my head. Pretty sure.
In 1 year?
Yeah.
Wow.
I want to say there was more. I mean, more people want. Like, at least it's not zombies. Zombies are easy. Yeah. So did a lot of werewolf stuff. Anyways, I'd say about 50% of my income is from film. The rest of it is from commission.
Yeah. It's like painting and stuff.
For a long time, like people wanted pet portraits or like people like fan art.
Yeah.
Birthday and Christmas gifts. And then I have another client that has me paint medical prosthetics. I could do that from home. And then
paint medical press. Oh, and that's super interesting. Oh, so like do art on legs and stuff?
like fake body parts. Silicone wires, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Medical? Interesting.
Yeah.
So it has to be like as realistic as possible, basically. Huh.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That. And then my boss Lou, who runs LFX, LaFond Effects, he gets a lot of exhibition clients. So we're doing stuff for Coachella right now.
Nice.
And he's actually trying to turn his shop into a studio. His company's been renamed to LFX Filmworks, and there are 2 locations. There's a Rhino location and the Commerce City one. So, back to the subject of trying to create some infrastructure in Denver, that's something that we're trying to contribute to also.
Yeah.
Having a studio where people can come and use it.
Yeah. So we got movies, art installations, medical stuff. What percentage is like the creature creation and like molding and sculpting?
Probably.
I guess I did an elephant for a restaurant, right?
Yeah, so that would fall under exhibition.
Okay.
So whatever. Yeah, that's a pretty. It ebbs and flows. I mean, this year it seems like that's been a considerable chunk, maybe like about a third of what I do.
Yeah.
Because it seems like once you get a client, if you do right by them, it keeps leading to other stuff. And so, like with this client, they do all these pop-up bars and installations. So this is the 3rd time I've done something for them.
That's a great client to have.
Yeah, so it's for the Zeppelin station because it was a Moulin Rouge theme bar.
Yeah.
Through this client, I've done props for a putt-putt golf course, for the Alice in Wonderland bar. It was downtown not too long ago, and I made the White Rabbit for them.
Nice. But no, I mean putt-putt makes sense too because they need a whole bunch of different styles of things like gutters. And I know you were working for Elitches for a while.
Yeah, so my favorite thing I did for Elitches was that giant fishtail.
Yeah. I saw that in there. So if anybody, is it still there?
It's somewhere. I mean, I don't know. I think it's probably in storage now.
Yeah. Well, if you go to Elitches in Denver, the amusement park, and you see a giant fishtail somewhere, Kevin made that.
Hopefully, it was in one of their ponds for a couple weeks when all their fish died. No, it turned out whoever cleaned it, and I don't care if Elitches knows this because they need to manage a lot of their park better.
Yeah, fair.
somebody cleaned it and didn't. I don't know if they cleaned it to the point where like there was no algae or something in there for the fish, or if they added a chemical that killed it. It was something to do with the maintenance of the pond that killed the fish.
Yeah.
But since the
Then you were the easy person to go after.
take the fishtail out. It's like it had nothing to do with the fishtail. It's like you guys didn't clean it properly. So
Get on your shit, Elitches.
else. Don't put fish in there. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, having fish in an amusement park doesn't make a ton of sense either.
I don't think the fish want to beat it that bad. Put them somewhere else.
It's like fish jail.
I don't think it's that impressive to the
Yeah, who's looking? Oh my god, they have fish in there. Like nobody cares.
not gonna go there. Oh wow, there's goldfish. Those definitely worth you raising $10. So in the summer, it isn't.
Dear God. That's why that's why all the prices were raised, the drink prices, because they had to feed the fish.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's funny. I feel like I could talk so candidly. I mean, I don't work there anymore, and Zach's about to quit. But
yeah.
one of my jobs was to update the signs constantly. Not because they changed graphically, but because the prices would change.
Oh my God.
Or to summer to summer. It's like, okay, here's everything we need to change. The hot dog is not $5 anymore. It's, I don't know, $7, $8.
See, that's a perfect example of it being a job.
Yeah.
That's like, oh, I'm changing prices on signs, but I mean, you're technically painting, but it's not fun. Yeah, and that's some of, if for creators or painters looking to, get work out there, like that's some of it. That's some of it is just you're getting paid to do a job, and that it's work, but it's not fulfilling work. So you got to be able to balance the other stuff.
Yeah, and I feel like we're working there. The upside to Elitches was I liked working with Zach and Brandon, and
oh yeah, they're the best.
when there was something sculptural to do, that was fun.
Yeah,
Fishtail was fun, but going through and changing the verbiage on the signs, I was like, nah, this is tedious.
What was the coolest? What was the thing that you enjoyed most for Fright Fest for the Halloween stuff there?
So I brought in a spider I made years ago that I think is still hanging up there. I never did get it back. It wasn't. But yeah, that was fun to do.
How big was that?
It's pretty big. I mean, it's bigger than it's big.
It's like a 10-foot spider or something.
Probably actually with its leg span.
Yeah, that's kind of fun.
It's a big spider.
Yeah, totally. That's way more fun than changing it from $5 to $7.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we did that, and then I painted one of those photo ops where you stick your head through the holes and it looks like a cartoon. I did one that was a couple of zombies. That was fun to do.
Nice. Yeah, so it sounds like it was kind of a mixture of like cooler and less cool stuff.
Yeah, it was mixed for me. I mean, any job I've ever had, even my favorite things I've done production wise or whatever, it's like there's always like those tasks of the job that are very dull.
Yeah.
Some of there's some fun stuff to do.
For me, it's like, again, I mean, this is very low level shit, but like with doing PAs, like a lot of the coolest gigs that I've been on have been as a PA. So like I worked for the Disney show, the snow one, the snow sculpture one. But so there was like, I got to be on set with Kermit the Frog, which was sick. But there were some days where I was just doing runs for waters all day. And it was just like, this is hell. But no, it was a cool experience, and you just got to balance. Again, the fact that you're working as a creative is cool in general. Like, as we were saying earlier, we could be, at a cubicle.
Right. Is Kermit the Frog nice in real life?
Oh my God, he's the best. Dude, he stayed for 2 hours after he finished filming to take photos and videos of everybody, and I got a personalized shout out to my wife and kids from Kermit the Frog. So good.
Time. He's an old frog.
Yeah. He's a hardworking guy. Hardworking frog. No, but just absolute class act. It was so fun. Speaking of characters and a sharp left turn away from Kermit, you've gotten very close to the flamboyant Satan on the show Bored as Hell. was some of my favorite in that was the public interactions. What was your like favorite interaction when shooting with Satan in public?
I have a couple actually.
Yeah.
Well, which one should I start with? They're both kind of funny because we get good. Pretty much I actually have more than two. All right,
Tell me some stories.
the one time, I think this was in 2015, 16. I wanted to take Satan to Gay Pride just to get some interactions, and he was kind of nervous. He's like, I don't know how people are gonna take this.
Right.
Protesters are like, a protester would not go through this much trouble. They would just have a crappy sign, So, like, no, we need to get Satan interacting at Pride Fest. So,
Just cover him in rainbows and you're fine.
we did. We put Satan in my car, which is hard. To put the sunroof down.
Yeah, his horns are what, like a foot or two?
Yeah. And we put a feather boa on him, and we drove down to the 16th Street Mall, and it was Sunday, which means the meters are free. So we're like, cool, parking a meter. Well, Sunday also means there's church going on. We ended up parking at a cathedral downtown, and right
Out of church.
right as this big ass gay Satan gets out of my car, all these parishioners are getting out of church. Like the bells rang.
And you're like, roll the cameras.
Yeah, and they just all averted their gaze. I mean, I thought it was funny. I'm like, Satan, you should go in there and confess. No, we didn't.
That's the reactions on that. Did you get any footage of it, or was it just happy they
None
happened?
of that. Once we went down to the festival,
Yeah.
and everyone there liked it. The Westward took pictures.
Yeah.
Westward.
I remember seeing like news coverage of it, which was like I'm like, oh man, you're doing fun.
I mean, nobody took it the wrong way. Like,
I think that's part of like how he does the character too. Like he's just so he transforms. What's hilarious is he's a Christian.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, no, like he really just takes the character. Like he there's not ill will there. He's just having pure fun with it.
And he always does, and he tailors his humor for who he's around. We used to film in my apartment complex all the time, and the neighborhood kids would see it, and he would just interact with them. You know, he'd go out onto my balcony to take breaks because it'd get so hot in the suit, and all these Montbello children would be down there, like, having conversations with them. Like, what's your name? He was like, oh, it's Lucifer. Hi, Lucifer. One time, this little boy, probably, I don't know, 3 or 4, was getting off the elevator. We're in my hallway, and Satan was there. And the little boy got off the elevator first. He saw this like big ass Satan.
Oh my god!
But then Satan moved out of eyesight, and then the parents get off the elevator, and this little boy was like, "Mama, Diablo," and she's like looking over. She sees nothing. But then Satan would turn. And every time the child would see it. So he's like trying to tell his parents that there's this big ass devil down the hall.
That's fucking great. Like to this day, they don't believe him.
Oh my god. No.
Because why would you?
Yeah,
Oh my god.
that happened one time.
Help you out. What's your name? Lucifer. Hello.
Yeah, well, and then
If you guys haven't seen it, you need to go check out Bored as Hell. It's on YouTube. Dude, I saw you putting clips up on TikTok. Have you continue doing that?
not lately, but I
You
mean,
need to, man.
stop. It is
Yeah. Oh my god, that shit. It is some of the fun. Again, just I'm in tears laughing at this stuff.
What makes it hard is TikTok's censorship is pretty extreme. So
That's true.
hard to post bored as hell content and not get flagged.
That's fair.
Like,
YouTube might be the place.
Like if it's violent, I can usually put a disclaimer on it. But one time I posted a video where Satan summons this big bush of weed, and that one got taken off. There was
Yeah. Weed stuff, yeah. YouTube Shorts would be that's kind of a similar algorithm pop to
I
TikTok.
think that's better because honestly, I don't think these days we have the benefit of long attention spans.
Oh no.
Trying to get people to watch your stuff. And so I think, because we started Bored as Hell back in 2015, and we were thinking, yeah, if we do these kind of Saturday Night Live vignettes,
Right.
but honestly, expecting someone to watch even 5 to 10 minutes of something, I think it's too much.
I think you need to have a fan base to begin with to be able to do longer. I mean,
Yeah.
and I'm posting these entire episodes on YouTube, but I'm also clipping out a bunch of stuff for shorts that will then link to the longer.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, with TikTok or maybe on YouTube also, is just take out some of the funny bits and just put that, because
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's more entertaining than watching a whole episode or something.
Well, and like I'm sure there's I don't know how much is appropriate for TikTok, I guess with the censorship, but like I think and that does suck. But no, I think there's enough there, especially for YouTube Shorts, to like you have so much. I mean, again, it's a minute or less. Like there's so much, just one joke and out. Like you can do 15-second clips. Like you don't have to do a whole bit. It's I think it could be, because again, there's so much potential there, and I think it needs.
And truthfully, I think it's funnier in smaller doses.
Right, just no context.
Especially like if you don't even, especially at the more random it is, almost the
Yeah. No, and that's the beauty thing. Like again, with shorts and TikTok, like you're just swiping, and then just Satan pops up in a feather boa, and you're like, "What the fuck?" Okay, this is okay. Fair enough.
I thought of 2 more things that happened.
Yeah.
Like one time, the most negative reaction we got was at the park once. This woman came up to us,
Oh my god.
and I'm pretty sure her accent was fake. She's trying to sound British. She's like, excuse me, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. You're frightening the children. And I said, we're almost done. And it was, it's a public park.
Yeah.
I said, we're almost done filming. And we were almost done. We had one more. It's like, it had to be right. She had to get her way. She's like, I don't care. You have to leave now. I'm like, you don't get to tell me that. She's like, if you don't leave, I'm calling the police. I'm like,
Go for it.
The police.
He's a guy in costume, and it's a public park.
Well, then she went on to castigate us about how inappropriate this was and how Jesus prove. I'm like, like you don't realize the man in the suit loves
right.
more than you do.
He's wearing a cross underneath the Satan costume.
Or has some shirt with some kind of Jesus insignia on it.
Yeah.
I think it was funny, but it's what it kind of underscores is like the irony behind all of it. It's like how irreverent it is, where it's like, you got someone that is a Christian that's just, he's doing this in jest. It's just funny. Also, she's saying that the children don't like it, but he's interacted with children so many times. They like it, and the
kids would love the character. My kids would have a complete blast. Of course, my son's favorite song is by Rob Zombie. So, but
well, and I think it's important to just explain to kids what's real and what isn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't like encourage the fear in them.
No, and especially like that. No, I think it's kind of like the. I mean, it's like if there was. Oh no, because you had Krampus in one episode. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, just bringing comedy to kind of the darker stuff is, it's fun.
Well, I mean, we were at Pride, all kinds of parents were telling their kids, they're like, you go up to Satan right now, we're going to take a picture.
That makes sense, because generally people at Pride are going to be pretty cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think to them, they see the irony, like, the opponents of Pride, especially the religiously motivated opponents who are saying like, this is in line with the devil. Well, there you go. It's like, fine. The devil wants to come and participate because at least it's colorful and people are having a good time. So I think that's the way people took it.
Yeah. Well, and again, just the character that he has is so like, it's honestly like lovable. It's so fun.
So much that another time we were filming, these group of kids were following us because we were filming outside. And this was at my apartment again. So like I said, like kids are entertained.
Kids are big fans of Satan.
Really, really young. Maybe, ease up a little bit. But I would say this time we're filming outside, And these kids ranging from like probably 8 all the way up to like 12 and 13 saw what we were doing, and they came up to us. And my other friends who were just there to like help with the set and stuff are saying like, yeah, we're shooting a film. And they're like, whoa, so like this is how you make films. And like I have no problem with them just being there as spectators, because it wasn't a neighborhood where I feel like kids have a lot of chances or get to like see cool stuff.
Mhm.
I'm like, if they want to watch, let them watch. And then we go inside the apartment because we're filming in the lobby. And then we went into the elevator, like, okay, we'll see you kids later. We go up the elevator, we get off. They had taken the stairs all the way up to the 5th floor because they just want to follow us.
Oh, they not even like one floor. They had like booked it up many flights of stairs to come see.
Yeah, they didn't want to leave. And like, once we go into my apartment and film, like, okay, like, this is
You're not coming in, right?
Whenever a bunch of kids are
No.
Satan.
You come into my apartment so you can see me film with Satan. Like their parents, like, where are they? Oh, they're in this apartment with this guy filming with Satan.
Yeah, I'm like,
that's how you get the cops called.
About that sounds terrible. This time you can't. It's like
you close it at the door just to
And I was dressed as the sleazy Ouija also.
That's right.
To add another layer to this, I'm dressed in drag, and we got a Satan and a video camera and all these strange adults you've never met. I'm like, thanks for
watch us on YouTube.
Stay in school.
Yeah.
You're not coming in here. Have a good day.
Stay in school, but have some fun in art class, because that's how we got here.
Exactly. But Bored as Hell was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it looked like it.
I mean, there are tons of stories. I gave you a few, but like
those were great,
funny encounters.
No, 100%, man. That's some Satan stories is. That might have to be the name of the episode. I don't know. I'm gonna pump it into ChatGPT and see what comes out for good SEO titles. But that's Satan stories is up there.
It has a special place in my heart. I don't know what its future is, because once we finished, we had our premiere at 2019 at the Bud Theater.
Yeah,
I think it came with Zach and Brandon.
And
right after that, we were hoping to pitch it, but 2020 came after 2019, and pretty much
we don't talk about 2020.
Everything got shut down. So
yeah,
I kind of lost my steam after that. And
yeah,
I quite resurrected this production.
Well, and here's the thing too, like I've been in development on like a TV show before. We were doing kind of a tattoo interview action sports show, and what the producers basically said was feel free to build a online following, because whether it goes out as so or whether they remake it with like bigger and better with budget, it never hurts to have fans. If you have a following, that also kind of shows proof of concept on it. So I would say, man, just keep pumping out content and maybe it'll go somewhere.
Yeah, we'll see. We definitely got a lot of content. We definitely got a proof of concept.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm saying. That's all you need. Like it can be the jumping off. And again, it's like part of why I'm pumping out so much online course stuff now for my different projects, because it's like I put all this work in, and I'd rather it be at least out for somebody to get value from it, even if it doesn't make a ton of money. I put hours into it, and I'd rather people see it. Yeah, no, it's been I think it really has some legs, and I'm excited to see what you're doing next. Speaking of which, what do you, let's roll out the red carpet for you here. What do you got going on?
Been trying to learn animation, actually. That's kind of another frontier for me. So I've been practicing with that a lot, but I don't have an active production outside of that right now that's really public.
Yeah.
Bored as Hell is kind of just resting.
Yeah.
And I think right now I'm just trying to get my foot in some other doors. I've gone to other cities to try to work out there. I've gone to Portland a few times to teach. So I'm just trying to carve more paths.
Yeah.
Branch off the ones I already have. So I think, like I said, this year marks the 10 years of me getting involved in film. So I'm trying to just bring it to the next level.
No, I love it. I mean, It's the classic 10-year overnight success, right? Like, no, I mean you're a forever artist, and as so, you're always kind of branching out into new things. And I mean, similar. Hey, I'm doing the podcast. Like, this is very easy to do, and it's fun, and it's creatively fulfilling. And I think that's always what we're chasing after, is just having fun and making stuff. And no, that's awesome. I think all those things are. The animation would be really sweet. Oh man, could you imagine like a bored as hell animated series?
I wish. That would be great. Who knows? A lot of things, they're developed, they ferment for a while, then they blossom later. I don't know.
I want to see Hans and Satan do some stuff together. That would be mayhem.
We might.
That would be amazing.
They're technically in the same universe,
right? Yeah, because you've created that's what you've done, is you created a universe, and you get to name it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's exciting. I need to get some marketing behind it, but also I want someone else to just produce it for me.
Yeah,
that's hard. I mean,
producing is very very specific type of person, and it's
this funded out of my pocket, which is hard to do.
Yeah.
I would love it if somebody else, like some production, was like, all right, we're gonna take over. I mean, I would relinquish quite a lot of control over it if I could have it actually have some.
Well, here you heard it on the show here. Any producers looking for some crazy characters to make some content on, Kevin is available and willing.
Thanks. Yeah. Just call me.
I'll put contact info in the show notes. Yeah. All right. Well, that sounds awesome, and I'm sure that you're going to be continuing to do a whole bunch of cool stuff. And it was awesome catching up with you, man.
Yeah. Thanks for dropping in and doing this. I had a good time.
Absolutely. Well, for everybody out there, thank you for watching and listening, and definitely check out Kevin's stuff. We'll have all of his info in the show notes, and we hope you have a great day, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Bye, guys.